Well, it's commonly known that a lot of millionaires are made in real estate, but the question here is, can we actually duplicate the exact same process that they did, let's say 5, 10 years ago, or even 15 years ago in today's market? And if I were to advise anybody, the answer honestly is no, that you can't. Price point has gone up way too much. Interest rate has gone up way too much. A lot of people are cash flow right now. They don't have any positive cash flow from their rental property. Most of the people are actually in the red. And also the market hasn't really recovered. So they're also using a lot of equity. So why do you want to even get into real estate investing at this moment? It's just that the risk is way too high. So I have been thinking about exactly how I can duplicate the exact same process because I do love real estate. I see that there's still a huge impact on anybody's life if they can do real estate the right way. So when I started really processing exactly how I can duplicate my success in real estate, which really, if you think about it, for point of reference, my very first property back in 2010, 4-bedroom student rental, that one I actually acquired it for 272K. And even up until like 2014, 2015, the property that I was getting, the max was still 340K. The property was a lot more affordable. It was a lot easy to make the cash flow work. And also on top of that, the capital requirement just isn't a lot. And you have such a big spread in your buying price versus your ARV, also the cash flow. So all that stuff I'm going to talk about a little bit. And even in 2015, 2 duplexes that I acquired in St. Catharines in 2015 were only 275K. There was a flip that I did was also 270K in Hamilton, also 2015. In 2016, that's when I got into a sixplex. That property was only 525K. So price point was just a lot lower. You get to see that cash flow in immediately. So we're not really cash flow. We're just finding the capital, putting on the system, and then get that system up and running so we can duplicate that process and scale from there. So in today's market, when the price point is this high, interest rate is this high, and there isn't a lot of cash flow, getting into real estate, it just doesn't seem to make sense in today's market. And that's really the main reason why we're pivoting to the States and using cross-border investing to continue to scale up our portfolio. Because if you really think about it, being an investor, the most important part is that you gotta be able to assess the risk. So everything that I just outlined here, if it's not giving you the security, why bother getting into it? And also on top of that, guess what? There's a taxation that we haven't really talked about. There's also landlord-tenant board, the delay in tribunal. Those are all the potential risks that nobody really talks about. You gotta use a very creative way to really make the cash flow work. And if we're talking about like $200-$300, even like $400, that's not cash flow. One major repair is going to wipe out all of the margin that you have for that year. So we gotta really assess our risks. And the most important thing is that we're kind of just against the wave at this moment. I like the idea of going with the wave, right? Have the wave to kind of push us out. And that really leads us to look into cross-border investing, a market that's the complete opposite of Ontario market. If you're in BC, Alberta, it's the same thing. You gotta find ways to generate cash flow. That's a rule number one in real estate investing. Have an asset that can actually pay you every single month. And then also on top of that, not only do you have cash flow, is the potential for the equity growth there. On top of that, do you have control as a landlord? Can you leverage a bit of a lending option taxation in a different market? If all the answer is yes, and you find that sweet spot on where you can actually scale your portfolio all the way from 200, maybe even like 100K, all the way to 300-400K, that's really where things can kind of duplicate over again in the next 5 to 10 years for you. So if this all makes sense to you, let's go into the next video, choosing the right strategy. The goal here, by the way, isn't to help you build that massive portfolio overnight, right, in a very short period of time. The goal for me is to kind of make it more digestible in each step. The next one, honestly, is just to figure out exactly the right strategy, right market, right property. And once you get into that safely, your confidence is going to go up. And once you have a bit of momentum experience, then you can further scale up into your next 2, 3, 4 properties. Keep watching.